The comfort of home, it's where we feel safest. But for adults over 60, hidden dangers may be lurking in ordinary places, silently affecting your health. In this video, we're revealing 4 common household hazards that most seniors never identify until they've already caused serious harm. These aren't obvious risks like loose rugs or slippery bathtubs. These are invisible threats that doctors rarely discuss during routine checkups. What's concerning is that these hazards increase in danger as we age, due to how our body's detoxification systems change after 60. But there's good news. Once identified, these threats can be eliminated quickly, often at little cost. So if you've experienced unexplained symptoms or simply want to protect yourself and loved ones, stay with me until the end. This information could literally save your life. If you're finding this information valuable, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. We share new content every day, and your support helps us reach more people who need these solutions. Now, let's begin with a story that could be unfolding in any home, including yours. Robert Thornton sat at his kitchen table, staring at the medical report in disbelief. At 68, the retired high school principal had always maintained a disciplined lifestyle, careful diet, regular exercise, yearly checkups. Yet the diagnosis in his hands seemed impossible: elevated toxin levels that his doctor linked directly to his recent cognitive changes. 4 months, he'd struggled with memory lapses, forgetting appointments, searching for familiar words, and once, terrifyingly, finding himself confused about which street would lead him home. He'd attributed these changes to normal aging until his daughter, an environmental health specialist, insisted on specific testing that most physicians never order. "Dad," she explained gently, "what's happening isn't normal aging. Something in your environment is causing this." The culprit was hiding in plain sight, an everyday item in Robert's immaculate home that was releasing compounds his aging body could no longer process efficiently. Something millions of seniors encounter daily without suspecting the damage it might cause. Perhaps you're wondering what common household item could harbor such a serious risk. Or maybe you've noticed your own thinking isn't as sharp as it once was. What makes these hidden dangers especially insidious is how they intersect with natural changes in your body after 60. Your liver's detoxification capacity diminishes by approximately 30% between ages 60 and 80. Your kidneys filter blood less efficiently. The protective blood-brain barrier becomes more permeable, allowing toxins greater access to neural tissue. And the fat cells that have stored decades of accumulated environmental compounds begin releasing them back into your bloodstream as your body composition changes. Carol Blackwood, a retired elementary teacher of 74, discovered this reality after experiencing inexplicable fatigue and joint pain that multiple specialists dismissed as normal aging. Specialized testing identified alarming levels of household toxicants in her system. "What stunned me," Carol confided, "wasn't just the presence of these compounds, but learning they'd likely been in my beautiful home for decades, silently accumulating until my aging body could no longer manage them effectively." As Robert discovered when he identified and removed the hidden culprit in his home, the results can be remarkable. Within weeks, his cognitive clarity began returning. But how many seniors never make this connection, accepting declining health as inevitable when specific environmental interventions could dramatically improve their quality of life? Let's examine the first hidden danger that might be affecting your health right now. Hidden danger number 1: indoor air quality. Frank Sullivan never suspected the air in his well-maintained ranch home was slowly poisoning him. At 73, the retired postal worker had developed a persistent cough that evolved into recurring bronchitis. Multiple specialists blamed age-related immune decline. "We see this frequently in patients your age," they assured him. Not one questioned the quality of the air in his home. When his prized tomato seedlings unexpectedly withered despite careful tending, Frank consulted a gardening expert who suggested testing the air quality. The results were alarming. His seemingly clean home contained indoor air with pollution levels that would be illegal outdoors. The culprits were common household items releasing volatile organic compounds, VOCs, and particulate matter that his aging lungs could no longer efficiently clear. This scenario plays out in homes nationwide. with the EPA confirming that indoor air typically contains 2 to 5 times higher pollutant levels than outdoor air, sometimes spiking to 100 times higher. What makes this particularly dangerous for adults over 60 is the age-related decline in respiratory defenses. The tiny hair-like cilia that sweep particulates from your airways become less effective. Lung elasticity decreases, reducing your ability to expel inhaled toxicants. Common indoor air pollutants include formaldehyde, released from pressed wood products, certain insulations, and many cleaning products, linked to respiratory irritation, neurological symptoms, and increased cancer risk with long-term exposure. Nitrogen dioxide, produced by gas stoves, water heaters, and fireplaces, contributing to respiratory inflammation and increased infection susceptibility. Particulate matter, generated by cooking, candles, fireplaces, and infiltrating from outdoors, triggering inflammation affecting respiratory, cardiovascular, and neurological function. VOCs, emitted from paints, furniture, flooring, cleaning products, and air fresheners, associated with headaches, fatigue, cognitive impairment, and hormonal disruption. For Frank, the solution involved removing furniture with high formaldehyde emissions, improving ventilation, eliminating chemical air fresheners, and installing air purification. Within 3 months, his chronic, age-related respiratory problems resolved almost completely. My doctor was astounded, Frank recounts. When I explained it was simply cleaning up my air quality, he looked genuinely puzzled. It simply wasn't on his radar as a potential cause. This knowledge gap extends to many healthcare providers who receive minimal environmental medicine training. While they excel at treating acute respiratory conditions, the cumulative effects of poor indoor air quality often goes unrecognized until significant damage occurs. The solution isn't abandoning your home but implementing specific strategies to address these hidden air quality hazards. But first, let's examine another common household danger affecting your health in surprising ways. Hidden danger number 2, water contamination. Thomas Sterling, a 71-year-old retired factory worker, prided himself on making health-conscious choices. He filtered his drinking water, exercised regularly, and followed his cardiologist's dietary recommendations. Yet inexplicable health issues plagued him: gastrointestinal problems, unusual fatigue, and memory lapses. Comprehensive testing revealed elevated contaminant levels in his system. The source wasn't his drinking water, which his filter adequately purified, but his daily shower, where he absorbed contaminants through skin absorption and inhalation of steam. This reveals a critical blind spot in how most seniors approach water safety. While many filter drinking water, they remain unaware that showering and bathing in unfiltered water can significantly contribute to their toxic burden, especially as aging skin becomes thinner and more permeable. Hot water and steam open pores, creating a direct pathway for certain contaminants to enter the bloodstream. Common water contaminants concerning for seniors include chlorine and chloramines, used to disinfect municipal water supplies, creating disinfection byproducts linked to increased bladder cancer risk with long-term exposure. These chemicals can also exacerbate respiratory conditions when inhaled during hot showers. Lead and copper. Older homes often have plumbing that leaches these metals into otherwise clean water. After 60, your body's ability to excrete heavy metals diminishes, allowing accumulation that can affect neurological function and compromise kidney health. Pharmaceutical residues. Medication residues in water supplies can create low-level exposure to compounds that potentially interfere with your own medications or create subtle hormonal disruptions. PFAS. These, forever chemicals, appearing in many water supplies have been associated with immune suppression and increased cancer risk, concerns that become more significant as immune function naturally declines with age. Before we continue with these life-changing solutions, if you're finding this information helpful, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We share new content like this daily, and your support helps us reach more people who need these solutions. For Thomas, the solution involved installing a shower filtration system, an investment that paid dividends in restored health. Within 6 weeks, my digestion normalized completely, he reports. The brain fog I'd attributed to aging lifted, and my energy improved dramatically. For seniors on fixed incomes, whole house systems may seem prohibitively expensive. However, strategic filtration at critical exposure points, particularly shower heads and bathroom taps, can provide significant protection at more modest cost. Martha Wilson, 76, discovered dangerous contaminant levels in her well water only after unexplained symptoms prompted specialized testing. The well had tested fine 20 years earlier, she explains, but geological changes altered the groundwater composition. This underscores the importance of regular water testing for well owners. For those in older homes, legacy plumbing can introduce contaminants even when the municipal supply is clean. Richard Thompson, a retired accountant of 68, traced his puzzling neurological symptoms to lead leaching from original pipes in his 1940s home. The solution wasn't abandoning his beloved residence but implementing targeted filtration. Let's now examine our next hidden household danger. Hidden danger number 3: hidden mold and moisture problems. Betty Waverly maintained her 1970s ranch house with meticulous care. At 72, the retired librarian kept every visible surface spotless. Yet despite her immaculate housekeeping, Betty developed a persistent cough, unusual fatigue, and frequent sinus headaches. Multiple specialists prescribed various medications providing only temporary relief. It wasn't until her nephew, a building inspector, noticed subtle water staining on a dining room wall that the real culprit emerged. A slow pipe leak inside the wall had created extensive mold growth completely hidden from view. When remediation experts removed the affected drywall, they discovered black mold covering an area larger than a dining room table. This illustrates a particularly insidious household danger: hidden mold that can significantly impact health while remaining completely invisible. What makes this especially relevant for adults over 60 is how age-related immune changes can dramatically increase sensitivity to mold exposure. The immune system becomes less efficient at clearing foreign particles from the lungs and sinuses as we age, explains Dr. Victoria Harrington, an environmental medicine specialist. Simultaneously, inflammatory responses often become more pronounced, creating exaggerated reactions to mold exposure. Common sources of hidden mold include wall and ceiling cavities, slow plumbing leaks, roof leaks, or condensation from improperly insulated pipes can create moisture within walls where mold thrives. Beneath sinks and appliances, minor leaks under kitchen and bathroom cabinetry often go unnoticed for months, creating ideal conditions for mold growth. Window frames and sills. Condensation and water intrusion around windows frequently leads to mold growth within window casings or behind trim. HVAC systems, air conditioning systems, humidifiers, and ductwork can harbor significant mold growth, distributing spores throughout the entire home. Particularly concerning is how mold exposure can mimic or exacerbate other conditions common after 60. Henry Wilson, a former high school coach of 78, was diagnosed with adult-onset asthma and prescribed increasingly powerful inhalers. Only when a bathroom renovation uncovered extensive mold was the true source of his respiratory distress identified. Within 3 weeks of remediation, I reduced my medication by half, Henry reports. Within 2 months, I stopped needing the inhalers altogether. What my doctors diagnosed as a chronic, progressive condition was actually an environmental exposure that could be addressed. For Betty Waverly, the solution involved repairing the moisture problem, professional remediation, improved ventilation, and appropriate air filtration. 6 months after remediation, my doctor was astounded by the improvement in my respiratory function, she notes. The chronic cough completely disappeared once the hidden mold was removed. This highlights an important reality: the most dangerous mold is often invisible. While visible mold certainly warrants attention, it's the hidden growth behind walls, under floors, or in ceiling cavities that typically causes the most significant health problems. For seniors living in older homes, the risk increases as aging infrastructure creates more opportunities for water intrusion. Bill Thompson, 81, experienced significant cognitive improvement after addressing multiple hidden mold sources in his 1950s Cape Cod. Dad became himself again in ways we'd thought were permanently lost to aging, his daughter explains. Let's examine our final hidden household danger. Hidden danger number 4: neurotoxic household products. Dave Montgomery took pride in his meticulously organized garage workshop where he restored antique furniture, a hobby that occupied increasing hours as he aged. The space gleamed with neatly labeled solvents, varnishes, stains, and cleaning products he'd used for decades without apparent issue. When Dave began experiencing tremors and concerning cognitive changes, his neurologist diagnosed toxic encephalopathy with features suggesting early Parkinsonism. The cause wasn't a disease process but rather cumulative exposure to neurotoxic compounds from products he'd handled regularly. "But I've used these for 40 years without problems," Dave protested. "Your body could manage the toxic burden at 40, his physician explained. At 74, your detoxification systems can't keep pace anymore. And your blood-brain barrier has become more permeable with age, allowing these compounds greater access to your neural tissue." This illustrates a critical vulnerability after 60. Common household products that posed minimal risk in younger years can become significantly more dangerous as neurological protective mechanisms decline. The blood-brain barrier becomes increasingly permeable with age, while detoxification pathways become less efficient. This creates increased neural exposure combined with decreased elimination capacity. Common household products containing neurotoxic compounds include conventional cleaning products. Many traditional cleaners contain solvents with established neurotoxic properties, particularly with cumulative exposure. Pesticides and herbicides. Products used in gardens and for pest control often contain compounds designed to attack nervous systems of target organisms, which can affect human neural function as well. Petroleum-based air fresheners. Many conventional air fresheners contain compounds that can cross the blood-brain barrier and potentially disrupt hormone function related to neural health. Hobby products. Paints, stains, varnishes, glues, and solvents used in common hobbies often contain potent neurotoxic compounds affecting brain function through inhalation and skin absorption. Margaret Johnson, an active former nurse of 66, experienced increasing balance problems and cognitive lapses that physicians attributed to normal aging until testing revealed elevated neurotoxic compounds. The source was her daily use of conventional cleaning products in her small apartment with minimal ventilation. When she switched to less toxic alternatives, her symptoms improved significantly within weeks. For Dave Montgomery, the solution involved removing toxic products from his workshop, installing proper ventilation, using protective equipment, and a medically supervised detoxification program. While some neural damage proved permanent, his tremors diminished significantly and his cognitive clarity improved once exposures were addressed. This pattern, where removing environmental exposures improves symptoms previously attributed to irreversible aging, appears consistently in environmental medicine case studies. It raises important questions about how many normal aging symptoms might actually represent treatable toxic burdens. Let's explore practical approaches to addressing all 4 hidden household dangers. Mary Rodriguez transformed her troubling health trajectory with remarkable simplicity. At 68, the retired school secretary had been experiencing accelerating health challenges her physicians attributed to normal aging, until she methodically addressed the hidden household hazards we've discussed. 6 months later, her inflammatory markers had normalized, her brain fog had lifted, and her energy had rebounded to levels she hadn't experienced in years. Let's explore practical, cost-effective strategies for addressing each hidden danger. For indoor air quality concerns, remove the most problematic sources first: conventional air fresheners, chemical cleaning products, and certain pressed wood furniture. Improve ventilation by briefly opening windows on opposite sides of your home daily, even in harsh weather. Consider HEPA air purification with activated carbon, focusing on bedrooms where you spend 1/3 of your life. Introduce air filtering houseplants like snake plants and Boston ferns. For water contamination issues, test your water comprehensively, focusing on contaminants common in your region if full testing isn't financially feasible. Install shower filters to address both skin absorption and vapor inhalation during bathing. Run cold water for 60 seconds before morning use to reduce exposure from overnight water stagnation in pipes, particularly in homes built before 1986. Consider targeted filtration systems addressing specific regional contaminants if whole house systems exceed your budget. 4. Hidden mold and moisture problems. Conduct regular inspections under sinks, around toilets, near water-using appliances, and around windows for signs of moisture. Use inexpensive humidity meters to monitor levels, maintaining indoor humidity between 30 to 50%. Address even small leaks immediately to prevent mold growth. Use bathroom exhaust fans during and 15 to 20 minutes after showers to remove excess moisture. 4. Neurotoxic product concerns. Replace conventional pest control products, solvent-based cleaners, and synthetic fragrances with safer alternatives. Ensure proper ventilation when using conventional products that can't be replaced. Recognize your heightened vulnerability during illness, medication changes, or high stress. Store toxic products in detached buildings or replace them with safer alternatives. What makes these interventions particularly powerful is their compounding effect. James Wilson, 77, implemented changes addressing all 4 hidden dangers over 3 months. The improvement wasn't just additive, it was synergistic, he explains. Each change amplified the benefits of the others. This reflects an important physiological reality. Each toxic burden requires metabolic resources. As you reduce these burdens across multiple systems, you free resources previously dedicated to managing exposures, creating resilience that transforms your experience of aging. Perhaps most encouraging is how quickly many seniors experience improvement. Helen Johnson implemented air quality interventions that resolved her respiratory symptoms within 3 weeks. Thomas Sterling eliminated water contaminants affecting his cognitive clarity and saw significant improvement within a month. And Betty Waverly's health dramatically improved after addressing hidden mold. These rapid improvements challenge the fatalistic acceptance of declining health as inevitable. As Robert Thornton discovered, what appears as age-related decline often represents environmental burdens that can be identified and eliminated, restoring function you might have thought permanently lost. If you're finding this information valuable, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. We share new content every day, and your support helps us reach more people who need these solutions. If this information has helped you recognize hidden dangers that might be affecting your health, please share this video with someone you care about. Many seniors are unknowingly living with environmental burdens that could be dramatically reduced. And remember, what we've covered today isn't about fear but empowerment. Your home should be your sanctuary, not a source of hidden health hazards. With the knowledge and strategies we've discussed, you can create an environment that supports your health rather than silently undermining it. Please share your thoughts in the comments if you've experienced something like this. Your story could help someone else realize they're not alone. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notified when our next video goes live.